when we are looking at our students, we have a select group of students that I like to call student leaders. And whether they are in a specific leadership position or not, they have a lot going on. They have a lot of stress. They have a lot of anxiousness. They have a lot of uncertainty in their lives because of the high expectations, really unrealistic expectations that they put on themselves. Sometimes these expectations are put on by maybe a parent or maybe a grandparent even, or some type of person in authority or power in their life. But actually, many times, these are self-imposed. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a few ways that we can find balance, that our students can find balance in their lives between their reality and their hopes and aspirations and dreams. One thing that, if you've known me and if you know kind of what I'm all about, the one thing that I know for sure will help in every facet of their lives is establishing some type of routine. Now, when I work with adults, I go into a full-fledged system of routines and a structure of rituals that I have them create throughout the day. But for a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old child, it may not be ideal to create 4, 5, even 6 different routines. It's crazy. The idea is to get some type of routine and try to have that be consistent. And the trick is not to say, create a morning routine, rise and grind, blah, blah, blah. The idea is to find the routine or the time of day that is best suited for that individual student. And not only is it best suited, but it's the most likely they'll be consistent with it, because nothing is worse than creating a routine on paper and then barely ever following through on that routine. What the students should ask themselves is, when is the time, if any, again, we're talking about student leaders here, when is the time, if any, that is most common where I find myself with some downtime? This also can be time that they're scrolling, time that they're, maybe watching TV or just hanging out with a friend. When is the time that's not committed to a group and or other people? So that may be at 10 o'clock at night. That may be most likely first thing in the morning. Very rarely for a student leader is right after school an open time. Usually they're full of after school activities, extracurriculars, whatever it may be. But that's the idea, is to try to find the time where they will be most consistent with their routine. Now, I'm not going to use this episode today to talk about all the different things that they can do in this routine, but it could be as complicated as working out and meditating for 20 minutes and listening to binaural beats and like all these crazy stuff. Or it could be a simple 10-minute practice of gratitude, journaling, and I don't know, just drinking some water and rehydrating, like whatever, breathing, whatever it may be, but some type of activity. So that's really for another episode, and it's very specific to the individual situation and student. So routine is number one, finding the time that they'll most likely be able to execute that routine. Number 2, don't overcommit. For me, I was fairly often very overcommitted. I was in theater, a concert band, I was in jazz band, I was in orchestra, I was in Tri-M Music Honor Society. So you can see there's a lot of performing arts trends here. If you've ever read The One Thing, you'll see that page, it sticks out in my mind, where they show if you work on 10 different things, you're going to be only 10% effective in all of them. If you work on one thing, you're going to be able to be 100% effective on that one thing. So I think it is definitely important for students to really think about what they have available before they just sign up. What time and what energy do they have available? Fortunately, again, high school students are still learning about how they operate, how the world operates, and if they say, yeah, but I could do that and could do that, like they don't understand that 2 months into it, they're going to be exhausted. Number 3, make sure that they find time for themselves. So they really need to find moments where they are just simply sitting and reflecting and just by themselves. Now, again, this does not include social media. That's probably the worst case scenario. So if I have alone time, but you're on your phone. You're just doom scrolling. And that's almost the exact opposite of what we want to be doing. I have free time. I'm hanging out with my friends. That's again, not an ability to reflect on your life and your leadership and your school career. So we need to have in our schedule a time for just alone time. We need to be alone for it. And again, this also doesn't, I'm just going to pop on a movie. Like, we need to be deliberate. And this is why we need to teach students these tactics, because they'll feel like even if they think that they have alone time, they're filling it with stuff. They're letting other people's agendas come at them, whether that be their friends, their parents, social media landscape, or whatever. So those are the 3 main ways that I know off the top of my head to ultimately help students who are high performing and young student leaders try to minimize the stress and understand that we need to be the most effective leader we can and the most effective role model in your school and community. We need to not be driving 100 miles per hour. We need to make sure we're stepping on the brake every once in a while and taking in the surroundings, taking in the landscape, seeing what we need to tweak and work on. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know I did. If you like today's video, then please hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified every time I release a new video. If you like today's video and you want to learn more about time audits, head over to this video right here and give that a whirl.